Okay, welcome to today's digital advent calendar. Today we're looking a little bit at the story of Joseph in the build-up to the birth of Jesus. And this is in Matthew chapter 1. And it says this. This is how Jesus the Messiah was born. His mother Mary was engaged to be married to Joseph. But before the marriage took place, while she was still a virgin, she became pregnant through the power of the Holy Spirit. Joseph, to whom she was engaged, was a righteous man and did not want to disgrace her publicly, so he decided to break the engagement quietly. This is Joseph's little moment in the story. Big picture, he's pretty much in the background. Jesus is the main event, understandably. Mary is the person in whose body a miracle takes place. But Joseph is a good, solid man. The passage calls him a righteous man, not perfect, but basically he's a good guy. You'd want to go for a drink with him. But put yourself in his shoes. He's just an ordinary bloke, minding his own business. He's doing carpentry in the north of Israel. He's probably quite happy living a quiet life. While he's still a teenager, he gets engaged to a girl called Mary. He's probably known her his whole life. They grew up in the same village. Families probably know each other. So it's all going well. Nice job, nice girl, nice life. And then the girl gets pregnant. And Joseph knows for a fact it ain't his. But he holds back his rage for a moment to listen. And Mary tells him, the baby's coming, and the dad is God himself. Now, just for a moment, picture Joseph's face when Mary said those words. And we might think, well, it's 2,000 years ago, uneducated peasants, they'll believe anything. Not true. Joseph's first instinct, as we know, was to get a divorce, which is completely understandable. The only reason for that is that he didn't believe her. It just sounded ridiculous. God's the dad of your baby. Who believes that? No, he thinks that Mary's betrayed him with another man. And that's why he plans a divorce. But Joseph's a nice guy. He doesn't want Mary's life to be ruined. And a quiet, low-key divorce is all he has in mind. Very reasonable for a man who thinks that he's been betrayed completely. You see, for some reason that's never stated, God doesn't tell Joseph what's going on. Later in the story, God sends a messenger to Joseph and tells him what's happened and everything's okay. Joseph immediately becomes the model husband. But God lets Joseph think the worst for a little while. He lets Mary tell him the incredible news. He lets them have I presume, a very awkward conversation. He lets Joseph be really upset. He lets Joseph have time to make a divorce plan. Only then does God tell him what's really going on. Why? We don't know. But maybe, just maybe, God thought it was good for Joseph to face what for him was a nightmare situation, because it allowed his character to come out. It allowed him to wrestle with his doubts and his questions. It allowed his just good blokeness to come out in the story. We might look at 2020 and think, in a very different way, what a nightmare. What a horrible thing to have to face. Maybe a fair assessment for many of us when we look back at this year. But it could be that with hindsight, many of us look back and see the purpose of God and think, actually, I needed to go through that. My character has actually grown and had a place to flourish that I never expected. Either way, the plans of God unfolding in history are far too big for us to comprehend. But we do have an advantage that Joseph didn't in the moment we see in this story. We can see the work of God through who that baby was and what he did when he grew up. And we can know that although we don't understand what God is up to, we do know enough to know that he's good. He has a plan up his sleeve, and he loves every one of us. Every Christmas, every time we engage with this nativity story, is a reminder of exactly